I'm Doris, and I'm here to share with you about the recent outlook, the future outlook for Pfizer, the pharmaceutical company. Pfizer becomes the world's first pharmaceutical company with revenue exceeding $100 billion. In recent days, Pfizer and Merck's 2022 financial reports have been released one after another. Thanks to the boost of the COVID business, both companies have achieved outstanding performance. Among them, Pfizer's total revenue in 2023 will reach a record high of $100.33 billion, a year-on-year increase of 23%, becoming the world's first pharmaceutical company with annual revenue exceeding $100 billion. Pfizer's new COVID vaccine and new COVID oral medicine contributed more than half of the revenue. The cumulative sales revenue of the two reached $56.739 billion, accounting for more than 56% of the total revenue. Merck's full-year revenue in 2022 will be US $59.283 billion, a year-on-year increase of 22%. After deducting the impact of COVID oral drug Lagavulin, Monoravir, it'll increase by 12% year-on-year. Taking a closer look at the COVID-related businesses of the two companies, in 2022, Pfizer's mRNA COVID vaccine will achieve revenue of $37.806 billion, a year-on-year increase of 3%. The COVID oral drug Paxlovid will achieve revenue of $18.933 billion. Merck's COVID oral drug Monoravir achieved revenue of $55.684 billion. Pfizer's Paxlovid and Merck's Monoravir represented two types of COVID oral drugs with different targets. The former is a 3CL protease inhibitor, and the latter is an RDRP inhibitor. The global anti-new coronavirus drug development is also mainly concentrated on these two directions. From the above comparison, Pfizer's Paxlovid revenue is more than 3 times that of Merck's Monoravir's revenue. It is worth mentioning that in the first 3 quarters of 2022, the quarterly sales of the Merck's Monoravir has been declining all the way, from $3.247 billion in Q1 to $436 million in Q3, but rebounded to $825 billion in Q4. This was attributed to the increased demand in Japanese and UK market, as well as the launch of the product in Australia. In 2022, the COVID business will bring considerable income to Pfizer and Merck, but in 2023, the income of this business will face a half cut. Pfizer expects that in 2023, the company's revenue will become $67 billion to $72 billion, a year-on-year increase of 29% to 33% compared with 2022. The reason is related to the expected decline in revenue from the COVID business. Pfizer said that because the government still has a large inventory of COVID products, it is expected that this part of the revenue will enter a trough in 2023. The company expects that the revenue of the COVID vaccine will be $13.5 billion in 2023, a 64% decrease from the 2022. The revenue of the COVID oral drug Paxlovid will be about $8 billion, a decrease of 58% from 2022. Previously, Pfizer signed a supply agreement with the U.S. government in the initial stage of the successful development of the COVID vaccine and Paxlovid. But it is expected that by the second half of 2023, Paxlovid will no longer be paid by the U.S. government, but will enter U.S. medical system, personal and medical insurance to cover the corresponding costs. Pfizer also pointed out that in its financial report that the sales forecast for the COVID vaccine and drug Paxlovid in 2023 is no longer based on previously signed supply contracts, but is determined according to the commercial market situation. However, the company is also expecting revenue from the COVID-19 segment to return to growth in 2024. Merck expects monogravir's revenue to drop about $1 billion in 2023, a year-on-year decrease of 82.4% from 2022. Meanwhile, the company expects full-year 2023 revenue to be between $57.2 billion and $58.7 billion. That's all I have for today. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and like. See you next episode.